Alright guys, so we just got back from watching a couple of clips from the new crappy Fallout show. Watching episodes, 2 to 8 or something like that? I think that's the episodes, whatever. Previous video was basically about the first episode. So first and foremost, this is why I've checked out of television. This is why I've checked out of movies. This is why, in a lot of ways, I'm checking out of games. I'm freaking fed up with this freaking political, ideological dog water horse crap. Listen, here's the thing about this crappy television show that I watched. Multiple clips thereof. For one, they push race mixing like crazy in this show, which is just wonderful. Brave and beautiful. I love watching groups cuck themselves and each other out to the living daylights extreme. It is brave, it is bold, it is beautiful. Because I don't know, man, we have to have a freaking white dude. He's with a freaking black woman who apparently is an executive of a big organization. I'm sure you're not a diversity hire, senorita. I'm sure that you're a legit businesswoman. I'm sure you're legitimate. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I bet she's an executive. I bet, bro. Because listen, man, let me tell you something. If you know anything about female leadership, all throughout history, you'll know that when you're being led by a woman, they screw you up the anus with a flaming dildo. So anyways, you'll understand that when I saw this character, I was like, wow, brave, beautiful, and also highly incompetent. Why would anyone hire this chick as a freaking executive? And by the way, Fallout is a timepiece of what is it? The Cold War or something? Anyways, I'm just gonna say the 1950s. Freaking screw this show, alright? It's 1950s, and for some reason we have a black woman as an executive. No, the executive should be a white man. And anyways, we know that men are more capable than women at everything in life. And not only that, but we know that white men are better at being executives. That's why in America, they've been executives back in the 1950s for many years. That's interesting. When you look back in the 1950s, a lot of executives were white men. That's interesting. When you notice a lot of companies nowadays losing a lot of money, you'll notice something really interesting. A lot of diversity hires, a lot of female hires, black female hires, black hires in general, whatever. Interesting, that's just like the more brave and beautiful, the more money they lose. And obviously has nothing to do with each other. This is all hyperbole. Clearly, it has something to do with something about the lizard people, I've been told, and I think it is. I think it is the lizard people. Or frick, what are they called? Elves or something? They're like the fairy elves from the Fey realm. Anyway, freaking dog water horse crap propaganda. I'm sick and tired of you trying to tell me and force feed down my freaking throat, trying to lie to me that people who do not make up a certain role, a certain demographic, a certain range of competence, that they are the range of competence. Freaking fed up with that. Stop forcing your freaking diversity propaganda down my throat. I don't want your crappy little liberal egalitarianism. I'm not interested in it. And obviously, screw you. This is meant to demoralize you. This is meant to lie to you. This is meant to tell you that fiction is reality rather than reality is to inform fiction. Fiction now must inform our reality. Because why? Because liberals are social reconstructionists, maybe constructionists, whatever. Let's not get into the difference. Don't care. Anyways, they just believe that however it is that they destroy and deconstruct something or build something up, which they never make something. So typically they're just reconstructing reality. They destroy what exists so that they can reconstruct it. Of course, they impose a bunch of delusions upon reality. Anyway, freaking screw the leftards. We know for a fact this chick has no business being an executive. We know for a fact that this is meant to demoralize you. We know for a fact by the showrunners this is made for propaganda. We know this for a fact. Now, of course, nobody wants to talk about the propaganda. I don't care. It's propaganda. Frickin' screw you. Bethesda or Amazon, whoever the frick you are. I don't care. Screw you, Todd Howard. Let's just screw you for frickin' all the things, okay? Screw you. And this is why I'm sick and tired of modern storytelling. This is why I'm sick and tired of modern ideas. Because get this. there's no sense or essence of heritage any longer, of a racial, cultural background, and that's what our stories are made from, is, hey, Anglo-Saxon society, this is what Anglo-Saxons look like, and this is what they do. No, now Irish people are black, now Swedish people are black, now go down the list, all these random people from all these random groups, they're all white people now. That's awesome, guys. It's awesome. It's almost like they're trying to replace something. So anyway, screw this show. Apparently in episode 2, right? I don't remember, but anyways, Lucy, girl boss chick, runs around, meets Ghoul guy, who's basically a Western archetype of a dude, gunslinger archetype. He goes bang bang. He's apparently a feral dude. He has to take a serum to stave off going feral, and of course it does break the lore within the games, because this is not exactly what the ghouls are about. But I don't give a crap about this show. The show's not canon, all right? This isn't canon. This is woke fiction. This is ideological propaganda fiction. This is not a television show based upon an era, a timepiece of the 1950s. Because for some reason, white people's stories cannot be white people's stories any longer. For some reason, when you make a story based upon individuals and characters from the 1950s, we can't represent the racial makeup of the 1950s. No, we have to show to you the replacement population. Okay, awesome, guys. So anyways, they run around, and I have to say this about the show, dude. I hate the freaking gore. It is gore for gore's sake. It is just because lefties, they get off to the glorification of the human body. They get off to the idea of people just getting splattered and torn apart and getting all their bones crunched, and it's just freaking disgusting. This is demonic. This is satanic freaking horse crap right here. They want you to be disgusted. They themselves want to be disgusted. They want you to be horrified for the sake of being horrified. They want your eyes to be insulted. Isn't it so funny that they clutch their pearls and they get all freaking triggered about words, and they get all triggered by someone just speaking their thoughts? But then when they see freaking gore and they see someone getting freaking bloodied and murdered, they're like, oh, it's kind of cool, bro. I kind of like this. Can I have a slurp? Freaking degenerate weirdos, man. These are satanic people. They love freaking gore more than they love a good story made by good writers who are not a bunch of woke tards. By the way, the best writers are not woke tards, but for some reason they need a good mixture of their ideological politics mixed in with a little bit of degeneracy, because maybe, just maybe, the freaking lunatics from the insane asylum are freaking lunatics from the insane asylum. So anyways, these raging degenerates are the ones that wrote this show. They're the ones that walrus clap for the freaking showrunners to freaking destroy the essence of Fallout, the essence of this intellectual property here. But dude, I'm just not freaking having it. I'm done with the propaganda. I'm done watching it. I'm not going to reward them with my time or my money. So screw you. Your freaking clips of the show suck. Go find better clips, guy. But anyways, yeah, the gore's too much. Apparently at some point, Power Armor guy, the black dude from the previous episode or something like that, the dude that got his butt kicked, he's crushing people's skulls, which is just splendid. And, you know, by the way, in older fiction, it's supposed to be that gore is a representation of extreme disgust, right? The loss of something of higher value. That seeing gore is a loss of purity, a loss of innocence, whatever. And I'm not saying it should strictly be that, but just in older fiction, there was a reason behind gore. But for freaking leftards, they just want to see freaking people get brutally murdered. And that is why, probably, you'll notice that leftards have a weird fascination with horror fiction and horror movies. I don't know, maybe they're trying to hide that they have some weird freaking kinks. Whatever it comes down to, these deconstructionists are so disgusting with what they do to our characters, our stories, the worlds, and how those worlds are inhabited. And at this point, there is no racial relevance, no historical relevance to these characters, to these stories. For some reason, everything just has to be androgynous. For some reason, everything just cannot mean a freaking thing, right? Nothing can be composed of one culture and their identity. Everything has to be composed of multiple cultures and all of their random identities. Well, no one's interested, no one cares. There's a reason why a bunch of freaking people, including the leftards, loved The Witcher 3. I mean, The Witcher series in general. but there's a reason why they were all freaking moistening their freaking pearls to freaking Witcher 3, and that's because what? Witcher 3 was a great representation of a cultural core of fiction to the spiritual vessel of an Anglo-Saxon culture, and it represented that well. And it represented the ideals of The Witcher 3, Anglo-Saxon idea. It represented it without destroying the racial spirit and the racial core of the characters in the world that you're stuck within. And that's what we want to buy into. We want to believe into a racial world. It shares with us their heritage. It shares with us their ancestry, their values that are preserved across generations, because you cannot preserve values across generations when you're mixing freaking races and mixing freaking groups, because then that means you're racing freaking cultures, which means you don't have a culture, which means you're an androgynous culture, which means you have no values. And of course, that's what you find with a lot of leftards, is that they don't believe in anything. They don't think anything's real. They believe that reality can just be reconceived, reconstructed into whatever they want it to be, right? Men and women don't exist. The way that men think and the way that women think doesn't exist. None of it's real, none of it's true. You just make it up as you freaking go. Oh, you know, gender ambiguity, it's super real and super in right now, guys. And the same thing with race. They believe that there's racial ambiguity. And of course, when you look into reality, inform yourself of reality, that is not true. But of course, again, they do not want white people to exist. They do not want white stories to exist. But funnily enough, for every leftard that you know, they're left with nothing once they've erased the white people. So, and of course, white people stories or white people ideas. And at this point, the only stories people really care about are Japanese stories. Why? I don't know. Maybe racial homogeny has something to do with it. Maybe because they still know what their cultural core is, what their cultural ideals are, values are, and maybe, just maybe, and you know, there's semi-Anglo-Saxon. There's always been symmetry between Asian cultures and white cultures. I'm not gonna act like it's the greatest amount of symmetry, but right, Bushido Code, chivalry, blah, 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 all the things. There's been overlaps and symmetries, so maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe you see people that represent certain values that used to be valued in the West, that used to be known and understood in the West, and maybe all that's gone, and people are freaking sick and tired of it. And also maybe something about racial and cultural homogeny, maybe that makes better products. Just maybe. It's a crazy thought, crazy idea that's been proven time and time again, but again, we're just pontificating here. Maybe it's wrong, who knows? Anyways, the point is that this show is multicultural horse crap dog water, alright? Nobody wants to exist within their mind through this world, because again, fiction is to be informed by reality, not fiction informing reality. Fiction informing reality is propaganda. Reality is to inform fiction. That's what makes it believable. That's what gets you immersed. Because if you don't buy into it and you think the fiction is stupid, because the basis of reality, no matter how spectacular, fantastical the story is, you have to believe that there's some kind of existential core that is congruent within reality. If you have a main character, a man, by the way, that's what a main character is, a man. So that alone, just if you try to make women main characters, okay, you know, you're already deconstructing the essence of a story. But okay, outside of that, if you make the main character a pussified male, a guy that thinks like a woman, behaves erratically, you are destroying the core of reality. Therefore, you are selling propaganda through your fiction, and therefore nobody wants to spend time with your story, and no one cares about that kind of character. We want to see a story, for instance, with a man that is masculine, with a man that thinks like a freaking man, not like a freaking woman. Nowadays, you look at a lot of fiction, men think like freaking women, including JRPGs. You'll have women literally slapping men across the face in JRPGs because the guy's being an erratic, emotional retardar. And you're asking yourself the question, why is this guy being a freaking emotional woman right now? And why is it acceptable for a woman to slap a guy across the face when he's being illogical, but for some reason, if a guy were to freaking that biatch, then suddenly we stop moistening our freaking pearls and then we start clutching our pearls. We're like, Daddy, what the freak is that?
I'm so triggered. That's so unacceptable.
Why? You're okay with it when a woman does it, and I thought you believed in equality. I don't know. Looks like equal rights, equal lefts. Looks like that chick has it coming when she starts crying. Just saying, you know, the back of the dude's backhand might just be a little bit glazened with a little bit of skin irritation. I'm just saying. Kind of looks like she needs to get her freaking head wrapped together, and it looks like every time you hit your freaking PC, it starts working again. Oh no, I'm sorry. That only works for women when they beat up men and they commit domestic whatever. I don't even know what you want to call it, you freaking libtards. But when women want to get freaking frisky with a freaking dude, we freaking moisten our freaking pearls and we're like, you go get it, girl. You've got that freaking man. You're such a freaking boss, babe. I freaking love you. Golly. I'm rubbing it out. And not like a man, I'm rubbing it out because I just temporarily changed myself to be just like a woman. And now my ovaries are moistened beyond belief. Thank you, my boss babe biatch. You are showing me the way of how a man really should be, and how you should really take some order and command from a strong, independent woman. Just beautiful, just beautiful. I love modern fiction, and this is totally not the reason why I checked out of it. So anyways, great storytelling like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, even the Iliad, the Odyssey, even though, you know, I have my nitpicks here and there for some of these things. Doesn't matter. I'm just incredibly nitpicky. But the more practical that you're being with it, there's a reason why all this fiction and all these stories are better. And by the way, let's throw Dracula into that camp. Even though I haven't even finished the book, I don't give a freaking crap. I've enjoyed the first 3 hours of reading Dracula more than I will ever enjoy watching these crappy woke shows. So anyways, with this freaking show, the Fallout show, screw this show. The stupid line is said between Black Guy and Lucy, the freaking, I guess her name's Bug Eyes or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, kind of Asian, kind of white chick, whatever. She's like, you want to have sex? Because they're locked up somewhere. I don't care. And he's like, what, with my cock? And she's like, literally, by the way, this is what he said. And then she just looks to the side like, yeah. And she's like, what, with what else? And he's like, well, you know, it's kind of awkward because when I get really excited with a woman, I release myself prematurely. So, okay, that's really funny, guy. So you're talking about premature ejaculation. Ha 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 ha. Freaking dude character has premature ejaculation. What are we doing here? What the frick are we doing here? And again, it's just emasculating the male character. Now, of course, the race mixing element was stupid, and also the chick coming onto the guy was like, well, what's going on here? Women typically don't make the first move unless they're a raging whore. But outside of her being a raging slut, apparently she just likes getting ran through by dudes of different backgrounds, of course, brave and beautiful. Yeah, I'm not into it. So anyways, the show keeps on going on. One dude's freaking foot gets crunched and you see the gore. It's absolutely disgusting to look at. And again, the only way they keep up the view time is that you're getting disgusted every couple of seconds watching this show, because within the realm of modernity, nihilism, atheism, and this lack of spiritual essence to our storytelling nowadays, the only thing that's keeping us around now is excessive gore and the monstrous eradication of purity within fiction, the eradication of innocence. These stories are just meant to make you engage with a disgust response, a horrified response, rather than to enlighten you and rather than to provide you any true value through the storytelling. And that's what we see here, and that's the problem with this story here. It's freaking dog water horse crap that just wants you to be horrified and insulted every few seconds. Yeah, I'm not having it. I don't like it. And again, I'm cool with gore and storytelling, but you know that there is no reason behind this gore. It is just to gross you out because they have nothing better to offer you, because these are hacks. They don't have ideas, they're not intelligent, and they're also not creative. They don't possess what it takes to be a proper storyteller, so here we are. Instead of having ideas for your storytelling, you just want to disgust us. Thank you very much. Anyways, a bunch of brave and beautiful people, right? We talk about, there's this nuke that was dropped on Sandy Shores, blah, blah, blah. That's why the whole world went to freaking crap because of a nuke. Apparently they had the idea that besides the nuke, it was brave and beautiful black chick who is married to a white guy because, again, race mixing. Apparently she thought that they were going to make a lot of money off of nuking America. So destroying your customer base within your country somehow from the remnants of the population, you're going to make money off of them scrambling around, trying to survive. So you're going to make money off of the apocalypse some way, somehow. I don't really understand how that works. And I would have to start writing up in my own head for the writers if I started justifying that. Like, okay, maybe we're looking at it as respective economics, okay? So in the element of respective economics, it's like, well, when you're in an economy that doesn't have a high population, maybe less funds and resources matter. So things get cheaper. So then maybe when you make less money, it is worth more because less resource expenditure, which equals higher monetary valuation. Maybe that's where you can go at it with. But again, these writers, they are freaking dog water horse crap, as if that's what they had in mind. That's not what they had in mind. But again, it's like they even had an idea in mind. No, this was written by freaking morons. Probably female writers, let's be honest. A lot of things nowadays are. You know, you look at a lot of modern day games and a lot of crappy writing in a lot of modern day games and modern day books, modern day television, whatever else. It's all done when it's crap. It's done by a woman. All the crappiest writing, all the crappiest characters. Love of God, don't even get me freaking started, bro, on freaking Narelle from Diablo 4. Screw that freaking reverse Frodo Baggins biatch. Freaking hate the living daylights out of her. So anyways, I don't even know if the whitish chick has sex with the black dude. I have no idea. I didn't watch that many clips, so maybe they did it, maybe they didn't. Nobody knows. I certainly don't know. So anyways, we realized though that brave and beautiful black chick who is totally an executive, guys, totally a boss babe. Apparently she believed that Sandy Shores needed to get nuked. Okay, good for her. So that they can make money, and that's why we have the vaults. And apparently the vaults exist because capitalism, because the higher rung of civilization needs to exist away and far apart from the lower rungs of civilization. So like evil capitalism. But it's like, honestly, if you want to make that point, which by the way, that's not what the vaults are for. So thank you, you ideological possessed mongrels and bigots. Thank you for pushing your freaking politics with your freaking moral high horse. And also, by the way, yeah, I don't blame the people with money running away from the people without money, because the people without money are a bunch of raging degenerates who are going out of their way trying to kill everybody. I don't know. Kind of looks like to me they want to avoid the criminal population. That makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, and don't forget, by the way, liberal policies. They make criminals. If you defy liberal policies, suddenly something gets done about criminals. Suddenly they don't exist anymore. Oh yeah, I forgot though. Leftists, they love crime. So anyways, I don't know. Some stupid stuff happens in other episodes. People talk to each other. Some dude with a big nose, he's figuring stuff out about the vaults, about 31, 32, and 33, each of those vaults, how the overseers are coming over from vault 31 and they're populating the overseers for vault 32 and 33. So I guess what, they're the mastermind vault or something like that. I don't care. We also apparently have a experimentation vault where a woman gives, well, she's pregnant, and I guess she's giving birth to these weird, I think, mirrorlurks or whatever. And basically they eat her from the inside. Thank you again. We have to just see horrific gore for no other reason than just for horrific gore. There's no idea, there's no concepts behind it. Just, don't you love being disgusted every 2 seconds? Yeah, dude, I freaking love it. It's awesome, man. Golly, I cannot believe I never asked for this before. I can't believe I never asked for a bunch of degenerate fiction, woke fiction, from Amazon. Thank God this exists. God, I love it. And by the way, I mean, they keep on trying to make villains cartoonishly evil. And by the way, when your villain is cartoonishly evil, they're not a villain. Okay, villains actually think like protagonists. And they actually have reasons and methodologies behind the way that they move about the world and the way that they make decisions. They're not these raging idiots. And typically, by the way, villains are actually smarter than the frickin' air quotes on heroes. But let's don't even get me started, love of God, with our frickin' liberal propaganda storytelling that we've been told for the last 100 years. And what makes up a frickin' villain and what makes up a frickin' hero. Because what actually makes up the frickin' villain, nobody wants to make stories about that. And don't even get me started, bro. There's all kinds of freaking narratives, all kinds of archetypes that you can make for legitimate villains. And you can make certain types of heroes that, oh, I thought that guy was a villain. Oh, interesting. He wasn't. It's actually the people that gaslit this dude, turning him into a villain. If we actually applied modernity to heroes and villains, they would look very different. But we just make up our idea nowadays through absolute propaganda in our fiction about what a hero and what a villain is. And at this point, people are just raging idiots. These writers are. They just believe that whatever their fantasy mind tells them about what a villain or a hero is, they just believe it. Rather than, sometimes, maybe look in the mirror, bro. Maybe you, as a leftard, maybe you're the freaking villain. But again, we don't have stories like that because what's going on right now is it's our villains making our stories, and they're selling to us that the villain is the hero and that the hero is the villain. That is our storytelling nowadays. When you look at the left, they are villainous. And when you look at these show writers, they are satanic. But of course, when Satan is writing you a story, he's going to demonize who? Himself or God? Of course he's going to demonize God. So this is where we're at with our fiction nowadays, is that we have the devil telling us what good and evil is. And then you have people who are sorry enough to believe Satan on who good and evil is. Don't even get me started on what good and evil is too, because it's not freaking liberal and it's not egalitarian. Again, propaganda, modern day propaganda, always selling you fictitious ideas, not understanding the balance between good and evil, or being beyond good and evil, and understanding amorality within the mixture of morality. But again, don't even get me started how we have to medicalize and ideologically determine everything in the modern age. And we've already gone through this with the Arkham Knight review. It's not out yet, but anyway, going through Batman Arkham Knight, I realized that the writing, when it was written by Paul Dini, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, you'll notice he writes within concepts. And this is how old fiction used to be. You write within concepts, not within medical terms and ideological terms. Nowadays, what do we do with all of our storytelling? Oh, you know, this character's a narcissist. Oh, you know, this person has a syndrome. Oh, you know, this person has a certain disease. Oh, you know, this person has this disorder, that dysfunction. We have to medicalize everything, which is a part of modernity, by the way, because mental illness does not exist. It's mental sabotage. Anyone with mental illness has an actual neurological condition. That's different. Bunch of people nowadays, they just make up their victimhood. They just make up why they're freaking twisted up in the head. It's called mental sabotage. Hey, you know, when you're a freaking dude and you can't really decide, am I still a human or not? Maybe you've got freaking problems, bro. Maybe the reason why you're not very stable is because you're not living within reality. Crazy word that we totally forgot about. Reality. It's a crazy concept. I know. Come in, the freaking water's warm. Just figure it out, bro. What's this word, reality, that you speak of? I don't know, man. It's this ancient wisdom. No one's ever spoken about it before. Until now. So anyways, you look at modern storytelling, though. Everyone has to be a narcissist. Everyone has to be a disorder this. Everyone has to be this, that, the other thing. And of course, we have to turn everyone into an ideological paradigm of whatever modern beliefs and sentiments that we have, which are what? Propaganda, feminism, multiculturalism, genderism. All of it is propaganda. But here we are. It's brave. It's beautiful. I freaking love it, bro. God, I freaking love woke fiction. So glad it's not being separated from all the other fictions, like, I don't know, fantasy, sci-fi. Thank God. Woke fiction can just invade the rest of all the fiction genres. I freaking love it, dude. I love this diversity so much. And I love it, dude, when women are equated to men, because they're so freaking strong. And I just love strong women. Gosh, they get me off. And that's why my most recent girlfriend, that's why she's flat chested, because I just said, I'm sick and tired of these chicks with freaking breasts. I was like, come on, dude. You know, the more a chick looks like a freaking dude, because by the way, my girlfriend, she also has this square jawline. So I was like, oh, that does it for me. You know, my last girlfriend, she had double D breasts, and I was like, sure, it looks good when she throws off her top. And sure, yeah, you know, something about these large rotund breasts. I'm sorry, thick, tight breasts. Yeah, sure, there's something about that I'm like super down bad for, but let's just be honest. When a chick is flat chested, when a chick has this square jaw, you just think to yourself, that's a man I could be. I'm sorry, that's the woman I can look up to from my relationship. No, I'm sorry. She is leading me in our equal partnership. I love her so much dearly. Thank God she bench presses more than I do. Gosh, she's so hot. Oh yeah, my last girlfriend, also, right, she was a blonde, blue hair, blonde eyes, because it wasn't enough that she had blonde hair, blue eyes, so I was like, listen, the freaking lefties, the leftards, I'm sorry, they keep on telling me that you just need to look different, there's something unacceptable about it, so we bleached her eyes, and now they're blonde, and it just made her hotter somehow. And then we just bleached her freaking hair in blue dye. And now, she started talking weird. She started bickering at me more. It was weird, but we got through it. So anyways, we didn't do the breast reduction. I don't know. Personally, I threatened to leave her. Not because I like large breasts, because, look at my current girlfriend. But what I'm saying is that I wanted to love her for who she was. And she wanted to, the leftards were telling her, you gotta change. And so she was like, I can't stay with you. I need to change. So she, that all went its own direction. It was crazy, man. The breakup sex was the wildest intercourse I ever had. I mean, she was calling me all kinds of slurs, and it was really weird. And then after that, she blocked me. So go make sense of it. I don't really know what it was about. I don't even know what I did wrong. But she kept telling me I had like some kind of small PP syndrome. I don't know. It was kind of weird. I'm still processing through it right now. And honestly, I can't resolve it. But anyways, like Batman, I'm going through my trials and tribulations, and I am the knight. So yeah, anyways, back to the show and back to my square-jawed girlfriend. Yeah, my recent girlfriend, she's also flat-footed. She's flat-footed. So yeah, I definitely upgraded. And again, yeah, my last girlfriend, she had a really narrow and petite jawline. And every time I kissed her, I was like, her face is so smooth. And I was just like, just doesn't do it for me. So my current girlfriend, she has peach fuzz. Freaking love it. Like Alloy from Forbidden West Dawn or whatever frick you call it. I don't care. Like freaking Alloy, my current girlfriend has peach fuzz. I'm freaking down bad for it, bro. She's also 300 pounds. That's not the way I found her. She just, again, I love brave and beautiful, diverse relationships. I'm definitely a fan. And also, by the way, my current girlfriend, she did show up white when we had our first date, but now she's a darker skin tone. I don't know how she did it, but it has something to do with a bathing ritual. I don't ask her about it because I just love her for who she is. And my previous girlfriend, screw that chick. She wasn't hot enough for me. So anyways, back to the show. Yeah, the show ends. Yeah, so anyways, I don't know, dude. The ending had something to do with cold fusion, getting freaking power for the freaking wastelands, and then apparently unlimited power. That was the grand plan of the guy that initially was working with the other vault techs and our brave and beautiful black executive woman. He was working with them on, or his ultimate plan was cold fusion. I think their plan was just to nuke America, which awesome. Don't worry, you don't have to do that. We're already doing that to ourselves. And just look at the European Union. It's following close behind, and it's doing a terrific job at really maintaining the stability of civilization. But yeah, anyways, I guess Black Chick turns out to be a lesbian for Lucy's mom, Bug Eyes girl, who propositions herself to the black guy. Yeah, that chick. Apparently, her mom has and Lucy's father, by the way, apparently is also the dude that made the cold fusion technology. It's like a formula that activates cold fusion. Good, awesome. So anyways, Lucy's mom apparently is a lesbian, so let's just cuck out the father. And apparently, she's lesbian for the black chick who has a white husband? What is going on here, man? Again, I don't know. This show is made for freaking cucks. I don't understand why cucks are infatuated with this freaking show. And good luck with your wife and her boyfriend. Oh, and I'm sorry, by the way, something about Lucy's mom, the freaking lesbian lover she has is a ghoul now and is dead. She keeps that ghoul around, I think on a wall or something. I don't know. She's imprisoned within the room, and she's literally pretty much dead and completely a horrific monstrosity, but I guess because of love, you're sitting in a room with your lesbian lover? Okay. So anyways, for the people, the freaking 5 people who love this show or something and say it's super good, and it's not woke at all, bro. Trust me, it's not woke. Yeah, I just hope that your wife's girlfriend has a good time with your freaking boyfriend. Of course, while you watch from the cuck chair.